Welcome back to the channel, folks. Barry Mountford here, and in this video we're going to be looking at the Nikon Z50 and the Nikon ZFC. Which one should you buy? So if you don't already know, Nikon have just released a retro style camera with the same specs of the Z50. It's basically a Z50 with a new body. So you might be thinking, which camera should I buy? Should I buy the Z50 or should I buy the new retro style camera? Well, we're kind of going to look at it in this video, and we're going to discuss a few other topics in the video as well. Some posts that I've posted on the community. I know you guys like doing this, so we're going to go over those. But first, we're going to get into which camera I think you should buy, the Z50 or the ZFC. Now, I'm really excited about the ZFC. I actually love the look of the old retro style camera. They've done a great job. From the pictures I've seen online, I think it is out due for pre-order next week, I think the 28th of the 7th. So I'm looking forward to seeing that when it comes out and get my hands on it. The only thing I'm looking at the moment is I love the Z50. I love this grip. It is a fantastic grip to use, fantastic camera to use. This camera comes everywhere with me because it's small and light, and with these little lenses on, it's just a great little camera to use. But the ZFC basically looks like a square, like an old film camera, and that's obviously what they went for, that retro looks. I'm really eager to see how that feels in the hand. Got a lot of the old film cameras, still feel lovely in the hand as well, but I just really like that grip for me, being out and about, especially when I'm out and about on the bike or out walking. I've got that grip in my hand, so I'm eager to see what that looks like. But on the upside, the ZFC has a nice flippy out screen. Something that everybody has been shouting about. Why they've put it on a retro style camera, I'm not too sure, but it's there and it works, and it's going to be great for a lot of vloggers out there. Personally, I haven't really missed a flippy out screen. I suppose if I did have one on either of the Z62, the Z50 or the Z7, then I probably would use it, no doubt, but I haven't really missed it. It hasn't been a big game changer for me, so I'm not too worried about that. So which one should you buy? Well, the specs are exactly the same. You've got the same sensor and the same D500 sensor. So if you're somebody who's coming from the DSLR D500, you'll know the image quality from that camera is phenomenal, really is. The video quality from this camera is beautiful. The images from this camera are absolutely stunning. So if you're looking at buying that new retro style camera, you are not going to be disappointed with either of the stills or the video coming out of that little machine. They are absolutely fantastic. It all comes down to how you, or what you like the look of, how you like that camera looking. Are you that kind of guy, a woman who can get away with that kind of look of the camera? I'm not that hip, so I'm not too sure whether I can or not, but I still do like that look. One of the most fun cameras I've ever used is the Olympus OMD 10, I think it was it 10? And the Fuji X-T20 as well. Really great cameras. They had that kind of retro style vibe going. The ZFC is very, very similar, but it's going to produce beautiful, beautiful images. And with the new 28 2.8, it's going to make a great walk around lens, a 42mm focal length, so you're going to have a great walk around camera, and it's not going to let you down in any area. So if you're somebody who wants to grow with your camera, that little ZFC is going to grow with you. It's got so many creative profiles, I think about 20, I think. So if you're somebody who's just starting out and want to learn and experiment, it's going to be fantastic for you. But if you want to kind of progress a little bit further, it's going to give you the option to do that as well, because it's going to allow you to obviously just expand your range in your photography, whether you want to obviously add really good creative glass and get more creative with your images. You want to start shooting off camera flash, it's going to allow you to do that because they produce beautiful images. If you want to get into video, the ZFC or the Z50 are a great starting point. If you haven't seen the video for the Z50, I'll pop a link to a card above. You can go and check that out. I honestly believe it's just a fantastic camera for the price. So it comes down to which one should you buy? Well, they're both the same spec, so it's just going to come down to the aesthetics of the camera. Which one do you like the most of? And do you need a flippy out screen? If you do, the ZFC is the camera for you. If you don't, the Z50 is going to be just fine. Now, I kind of see the price differing much between both of the cameras with them being the same type of specs, so I wouldn't kind of be waiting to see if the Z50 drops. You might be able to get obviously a cheaper Z50 second hand, but I think new, I think they're going to be roughly about the same price. There's not going to be much of a difference in it. So that's my take on the new Nikon ZFC. I'm excited to see it and I can't wait to get it in my hands and give it a try. So now we're going to be jumping into the polls that I've been posting on the community. So you guys who are regular to the channel know I post a lot of questions and polls on the community forum on the YouTube channel. You guys answer them and then we discuss them in the photography talk section of this YouTube channel. So the first question I asked in this poll was, photographers, creators, how many of you create content for YouTube? 15% said yes, I create content for YouTube. 41% said no, I don't create, but I love watching the content on YouTube. 15% said I've tried but stopped as it wasn't going anywhere. That's normally the case because when you start out, it's a slow start, but you've got to keep going at it. If you enjoy it, just keep doing. Don't worry about it going anywhere. Do it for the enjoyment and the enjoyment only, and that will just lead to better things. I wouldn't know what type of videos to make. Yes, that can be a bit of an issue. I think getting that creative block sometimes to try and come up with a video, but I think if you try too hard, that's when that block comes into play. But if it's just something you enjoy doing, just document it, video it, go out and show people and share it with people. You'll be surprised at how popular those videos will become. So the next poll, photographers, my biggest photography purchase fail has to be the iPad Pro. I got caught up in all of the hype of the iPad Pro, seeing how it was going to replace the laptop and how obviously you can start using Photoshop. Photoshop was supposed to be coming to the iPad, the full-blown version, which hasn't materialised. Biggest waste of money ever. Will never ever replace, in my opinion, will never ever replace a laptop ever. iPad, it's just a content consuming device. Watching films, playing games, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. You can do tasks on it, but it's just not the same as a laptop. So 20% of you said iMac is the only way. 38% of PC is the best experience. 8% said the iPad Pro is the future of editing. I don't believe that whatsoever. I use both. I still do use both in a little way. I'm hoping to have the iPad Pro be more of a useful tool because I'm just bought a brand new MacBook Air. I've got that coming, so I'm hoping to kind of use both of them in conjunction with each other. So that might make the purchase of the iPad Pro, a good one eventually. After all this time, I think I bought it in 2018. You only need a laptop. 23% said if you only need a laptop. Yes, we only need a laptop. The laptops these days are absolutely fantastic, and especially these new M1 MacBooks from Apple, the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air. So I've actually bought a MacBook Air. I can't believe I purchased a MacBook Air for video editing and image editing. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how that's going to pan out when that comes. MacBook Air. Never ever thought I'd be buying a MacBook Air. So I'm saying goodbye to the my MacBook Pro and replacing it with a MacBook Air. Bizarre. So in the next poll I asked, because you guys might not know this, but I have a little section on this channel for e-biking. That's going to grow because obviously I love e-biking, but I use it for photography. I bought the e-bike for photography, landscape photography, so I can get out there and get to places where I just wouldn't get and cover a lot more ground a lot quicker. So I asked, would you like to see e-bike photography adventures on the channel? 35% said yes, I would love to see them. 53% said no, I just want to see photography tutorials. Well, at some point I'm going to run out of tutorials to give you. There's only so much I know. I'm still learning as I progress in my photography too. And as I do learn, I will share that information with you guys. But there's only so much I can kind of teach you without regurgitating what's already out there on YouTube. So if I think there's something that's worth sharing with you guys that you will learn from and kind of gain from, then I will share that. Otherwise, it's just going to be a lot more tech reviews, photography talk, and a little bit more e-biking on the channel. And 12% said both, so you're probably going to get both. Photographers, videographers, how many of you know your gear inside out? I mean, every function of the camera, lighting gear, every little nook and cranny of the camera, every function of the camera. And I ask this because I was contacted by a lovely gentleman from Scotland asking about a function on the XT2 trigger. I'm using the Pixel Pro ST3. Same, Godox just rebranded. And I replied to him saying, no, you cannot do that. It's impossible. You'd have to have sync. Anyways, it was a long-winded conversation. Great conversation to have with this guy. And anyways, he came back and he educated me and he showed me a function on this trigger which I didn't even know existed. But there was a lot of other little interesting sub-menus inside this trigger. So if you want to see a video on that, let me know and I can go through that with you, because I found it really interesting. There's a few things on there which I've found useful, and I'm happy that he's actually been able to educate me. So there you go. I don't know everything. I'm still learning as well. So I was really grateful for that conversation we had via email. So if you are watching this video, thank you very much. 22% of you said yes, I know my camera inside out, and 78% of you said no, I only use the functions I need. I'm one of those 78%. I generally, honestly, only ever use the function on a camera or my laptop or Photoshop or Lightroom, just the ones I need. I never kind of delve further into the camera or further into anything I've got technology wise. I never delve deep into it. I just use the functions I need. I've been so used to using a camera just in manual mode for years and years and years. I've never delved deep into the menu system and kind of seen what the camera actually does. So I suppose I've never really used the camera to its full potential. So that's something I'm going to invest my time in, is kind of getting to know more about the gear that I use, really more in depth for those times that I might need it. Probably won't need it. I'll probably just revert back to what I'm doing, but sticking in that kind of zone of what I used to be doing, I might be missing out on other things. So I think it's a good idea to continue looking at more functions of the camera and all the other gear that I do have, and I'd probably highly suggest that you guys do the same. So the latest poll I posted, is this the latest poll? No, there's another one. Photographers, how many of you use presets for your photos? Because I was never ever a fan of using presets until this year, when work has been crazy and I never have time now to sit down and edit photos like I used to. I cannot spend hours editing photos, I just cannot do it. So I decided to come up with presets. I've never really been a fan of presets until now. I've been working on these presets for about a year, and every time I'll do them, I'll come away and I'll go back to them and I'll think they're rubbish, don't want them, don't want to share them with anybody. Until now I've come up with 15 presets I'm really happy with, and they are on the website to download if you're interested in download. If you're somebody who uses presets, you can feel free, you can go and check them out on the websites. But I must admit, it's sped up my workflow a lot. Now I have a baseline to work from. I can click on a preset, it changes everything I need, so I haven't got to go through that same rigmarole of obviously adjusting, tweaking, all that kind of, so I can get a baseline and then just work from there. So it really has quickened up my process in post-processing very much. So I'm happy with that so far, and I'm really happy with those presets. I might do a video on those, I'm not sure, because a lot of people don't like using them, a lot of people do. Let us know in the comments below if you want us to do a video on the presets that I've just uploaded to the website and how I use them, and I can do that for you guys, no problem. So the next poll, I asked photographers who will be buying the new ZFC. Looks like a great APS-C camera. Well, we'll cover that in this video. 10% said yes, can't wait to buy one. 38% love the retro look. 10% said I will stick with the Z50. And 43% no, I won't be buying one. So I think there's going to be a lot of interest in it when it comes out and people are starting to use it. But for me, I'm probably just going to be sticking with the Z50 because I have fell in love with this little camera. So that's going to stay with me. Even if I pick up the retro one, I'm still keeping that camera also. So there you go, folks. That is it for this video. Photography Talk episode 6 is now finally complete. Hopefully it won't be too long before I see you guys in the next video. So have a safe week. Enjoy your photography, and I will see you guys in the next one. See you then.